An elephant stops walking. In front of it, a pile of old bones. It stands there, 1 hour, 2 hours, nobody tells it to go. You'd say it's just an animal. Bones are bones. It doesn't understand. But then why does it stop? And why, when it finally walks away, does it come back the next day? Here's the question this video is really asking. Not do animals grieve? Not do they feel sad? The question is this: do animals know that something is gone forever? Because that's what death actually is. Not blood, not pain. It's the permanent absence of someone who was there before. And that is a much stranger thing to understand. The word death means nothing to them. No animal has a word for it. But animals live inside social groups. They have maps in their minds. Maps of who belongs, who is nearby, who they can trust. And when one of them disappears from that map and doesn't come back, something shifts. Not a thought, not a concept, a gap, an empty place where someone used to be. And it turns out that gap can do something to an animal that looks very much like what it does to us. Let's start with elephants, because elephants are the clearest case we have. When an elephant comes across bones, it doesn't ignore them. It slows down, it approaches, then it does something strange. It reaches out with its trunk and touches them. Slowly, carefully. The way you might touch something you're not sure about but can't leave alone. Researchers have watched this happen with complete strangers' bones. Random elephant remains, not family, and the elephants still stop, still touch. But when they find the bones of someone they knew, it's different. They spend longer. They touch the skull and the tusks specifically, the parts that would have been most familiar in life, the face, the teeth. There are recorded cases of elephants carrying bones of their dead with them for miles before setting them down, and then coming back to the same location, year after year, long after any smell or signal is gone. Just bones, just a place. But they return. Now look at chimpanzees. In 1972, a primatologist named Jane Goodall documented something that still gets cited in almost every study on animal grief. A chimpanzee named Flo died. She was old. Her death was not sudden or violent. Natural causes. Her son was named Flint. He was 8 years old. Too young to be on his own, but old enough that most chimps his age had already started separating from their mothers. Flint did not separate. After Flo died, Flint stopped eating. He stopped moving much. He would return to the places where his mother used to sit. He lost a third of his body weight in weeks. He died 33 days after his mother. No injury, no disease that the researchers could identify. He just stopped. Goodall wrote that she believed he died of grief. That word, grief, makes scientists uncomfortable. It implies too much. But even the ones who avoid it will tell you that Flint's behavior had no other clean explanation. His mother was gone. The map had a hole in it, and he couldn't go on without her. Crows don't grieve the way elephants or chimps do, but they do something that might be more unsettling. In 2015, a researcher named Kaylee Swift at the University of Washington published a study on what she called crow funerals. When a crow dies, other crows gather, not just one or two, sometimes dozens. They land around the body. They call loudly. They don't eat it. They don't disperse quickly. They stay, and they call, and then eventually they leave together. Swift's research found that after this gathering, crows avoided that location. They remembered it as dangerous. They associated the place with death. And then they taught that association to younger crows who hadn't even been there. Baby crows that never saw the body learned which spots were to be avoided. The information about death traveled through the group. They don't grieve in any way we recognize, but they convert a death into a warning. They take the fact that something ended and pass it forward. There is one more animal worth mentioning here, and it may surprise you: giraffes. In multiple documented cases, a mother giraffe whose calf has died will stand over the body for days. She won't eat much. She won't move far. Other giraffes in the area sometimes come and stand nearby, not doing anything, just present, before quietly walking away. Researchers have debated what this means. Some say it's a maternal instinct failing to switch off, but that doesn't quite fit because the behavior doesn't look like confusion. It looks like vigil. Dogs might be the animal you think about most here, because you live with them, and you may have seen it. A dog in a house where another dog dies often stops eating, sleeps more, searches, goes to places the other dog used to be and stands there. A 2016 survey of over 300 pet owners found that almost 3/4 of them observed behavioral changes in their surviving dog after the other one died, changes that couldn't be explained by the owner's own sadness influencing the dog. Changes that happened before the owners showed any reaction at all. The dog registered the absence first. Something was wrong with the map before the humans even understood what had happened. Some dogs searched the house for weeks, One owner reported her dog sat at the front door every evening at the exact time the other dog used to come back from walks. Same time, same door, every day, for a month. Here's where the skeptics push back. And the skeptics have a point worth listening to. Maybe this is all just smell. Maybe the elephant is reacting to a scent trace on old bones. Maybe the dog is responding to a disrupted routine. Maybe Flint the chimpanzee had a compromised immune system and something else killed him. Maybe crows avoid death sites because of predators, not because of grief. That's possible. For most of these examples, you can build an alternative story. But here's the thing, the alternative story can't explain. Why does an elephant return to a pile of bones a year later when all scent is gone and stand there? Why does a dog search the specific chair the other dog slept in? Why does Flint go back to the exact places his mother sat and stay there, doing nothing, with no food present? The behaviors are too specific, too targeted. The simplest explanation is that these animals have some representation of who was here, and they know that whoever that was is not anymore. This might come from a deep function in social brains. When you live in a group, you track individuals. You know who is dominant, who is safe, who owes you something, who you can lean on. That tracking doesn't turn off when someone goes. The slot stays active, and the brain keeps looking to fill it with input that isn't coming. That mismatch between an expected presence and a real absence is probably not grief the way you experience it. No story, no words, just a signal that something is wrong with the world, and it isn't getting fixed. Neuroscientists think this mechanism is ancient, older than language, older than complex thought. It may exist in any brain complex enough to model relationships, which means it may exist in a lot more animals than we ever assumed. But here's what science still can't tell us. We can watch what animals do. We cannot feel what they feel. We don't know if there's anything it is like to be a crow at a crow funeral. We don't know if an elephant standing at old bones feels something or simply does something. That gap between behavior and experience may never fully close. We can see the shape of what happens. We can't get inside it. In 2018, a killer whale named Tahlequah lost her calf. The baby lived for less than an hour. Tahlequah lifted the body to the surface. She carried it on her head. For 17 days, she swam with her dead calf across more than 1,000 miles of ocean. When the body began to slip, other members of her pod would take it. They passed it between them. They helped her carry it. Scientists watched and called it a tour of grief. No behavior like it had ever been recorded for that length of time in any non-human species. There was no evolutionary explanation. It helped no one survive. It served no function, except that maybe Tahlequah knew her calf had existed, and couldn't yet accept that it didn't anymore. That's not science. That's something harder to name. So go back to the elephant at the beginning. Standing at the old bones. 2 hours. You'd say it doesn't understand. Maybe that's true. Maybe it has no concept of death, no story, no funeral, no idea what forever means. But it knows something. It knows these bones belong to a shape that used to move through the world, and it knows that shape is gone, and it stands there. For as long as it needs to. We have a word for that. Animals might not, but they do the same thing anyway.